I was gonna try not to do as many of these lives because it kind of messes with the algorithm with all the furniture work that I do, and the furniture content that I do. But I felt like talking about politics tonight because I felt like all I've been doing today is listening to freaking political stuff. And honestly, politics is kind of like it's like the Voldemort when you own a business. You're not supposed to talk about politics because you run the risk of alienating part of your base of consumers, right? You don't want to, say you're for one thing when your consumer could be for another thing. Generally not a good thing to do, but I think I can talk about politics here because I'm not really going to touch, I don't think, too many super hot button issues. There's more of the manufacturing side of things I want to talk about. Being that I own a manufacturing company here in St. Louis, Missouri, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about kind of tech, and I want to talk about just kind of what I'm seeing with our government and who they're really aligned with, right? Who their interests really are, who they're really supporting, because it just doesn't seem like they're supporting our citizens very much, And I mean, I'll put it out there. I was a Trump supporter for years, like a very long time. And at this point, I'm so disgusted with that man that I don't know what to do, right? And other people say, well, you got to vote for a Republican or you got to vote for a Democrat. And I'm kind of the opinion now at this point that we don't need to vote for any of these people. Like, when they say you don't vote, you don't get to have an opinion, all these kind of things. I don't think it matters who you vote for. Like, at this point, I've owned a company for so long now. It doesn't really matter who's in office. My company generally does pretty well because we have a great product, but it's very obvious to me at this point that we're all paying taxes for nothing. We're all paying taxes to support interest groups and to support big, large corporations that like to shovel jobs overseas. And I can talk about this a lot because I've done some of this. I've been a part of a lot of this. I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of how big business works and how it's corrupting our country, and it's pitting people against each other, and it's creating a lot of nihilism in our country, to be quite honest with you. And we're teaching people to do things that aren't really valuable, which is, I think, what kind of leads to this nihilistic state that we have. There aren't enough people that are doing things that really matter. And I'll be honest with you, like, when you do stuff that matters, like, it really helps. It really can put you in a good state of mind. It gets you excited to go out into the world, and get you excited to go be around other people, to do work, to try and please customers, try and please coworkers, try and please family members. Having that good attitude is really helpful, and I just don't see that our government cares about that anymore. I don't see that big, large corporations care about that anymore, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So this topic interests you: manufacturing, government being bought and paid for by big interests. I could talk to a lot of this because I work with a lot of wealthy people. I've been in the private jet industry for a long time. I used to live in Oregon on the Pacific Northwest around tech and all these kind of things. I got a pretty good, well-rounded swath of experience that I can talk about. So that's what we're talking about today. My name's Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are a small boutique furniture manufacturing company. We do about 500 pieces a year. And we have a small 7-figure revenue. We have about 7, 8, 9 employees. And it's a great business. I love owning a company. I hope to pass this company down to my family, my children, hopefully. But they have no interest, right? Which is part of why I'm doing this talk today. Kids don't want to do what their parents did, right? And they think that if they do what their parents did, that it's uncool, And that's a big problem. We got to find a way to get children and younger people to be excited about what their parents did, right? Because just because you're a parent doesn't mean you're not cool. It doesn't mean you do something that's not cool. Parents do all kinds of cool things. Adults do a lot of cool stuff, and we got to teach the kids that, like, this stuff's cool. It's cool to build furniture. Right? I got this dress that I've been working on behind me. Like, this stuff's cool, And if all people want to do is create content, be influencers and YouTube content creators, stuff like that, we're going to end up like all of these guys on YouTube, like that bourbon moth guy. I think there's like a Four Eyes guy. There's just a whole bunch of them. And these people aren't like real woodworkers. They're content creators. And these people get all the exposure. People want to be around these people. They want to see these people. And that's not what real woodworking is, right? You're not going to get rich and famous by trying to be a YouTube woodworker. It's not going to happen, So we got to inspire the kids to do some stuff that, like, really is important, that goes with the family, that stays in the family. The work has to stay in the family. I cannot say this enough. If your kids don't want anything to do with what it is that you do, maybe you got to look at what it is that you do. Maybe it's not really cool. Maybe what you're doing, you didn't go far enough, right? You didn't go hard enough, and maybe you got to try and do something else. If you're 50 years old working at McDonald's, your kids don't want to do what you do. Like, I get it. But if we're going to fix what we have going on in our country today, I think we need more people teaching their kids how to do things, making what they do part of what their family does. And that's a big thing that I've talked about in many of my talks before. And again, I don't know if it resonates with people, but it's really important to me that people do this kind of stuff. So we'll get on with our talk. I've ranted enough. We're going to talk about manufacturing. We're going to talk about oligarchies. We're going to talk about the Trump administration. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about all the things you're not supposed to talk about as a business owner, okay? So a few people in the chat already. So we got, let's see, Lem Bork, I guess. So hello, good to see you. I don't know if I pronounced your name right. I probably did. We got Josh Galton here. What do you think about the Cirrus Vision jet? I actually don't know that jet. I've worked on a lot of different jets, but I have been out of the game for about 10 years now. But I don't remember that jet, to be quite honest with you. I apologize. I mean, I worked in private aviation for 20 years. I saw a lot of jets, but I didn't see that particular one. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. It sounds like a smaller jet. You know, is it like a Honda jet? You kind of like the Honda jet? Phantom. Yeah, I did all the Phantom 300s. I did a lot of those for Ember Air. I built a lot of closet cabinets. I did a lot of credenzas for that plane. Ember Air is an amazing company. I was actually supposed to go down to Sao Paulo, but I ended up not going. I went to New Zealand instead and did a bunch of work for New Zealand Air and Virgin Atlantic. You know, but yeah, jets, man, jets are a cool industry. I can talk jets for. And you guys want to talk jets? Well, I'll talk jets all night long. Okay, let's see. Talk to me about jets, man. Super interesting. Okay, we can talk about jets. Hell, we'll talk. You guys want to talk jets? We'll talk jets for a second. So I'll tell you guys what I did, and you can ask all your questions. Okay, so I spent literally 20 years in aerospace. I started out as somebody making $10 an hour, making little Jeppesen cabinets. Right, these things were like think of like a little magazine rack. I did a bunch of those, and I started making what are called divan cabinets, which are the cabinets that go on like the side of couches. And from there, I went on to building like bulkheads and side ledges and all these kind of things. Well, I ended up having kind of a knack for doing one-off stuff. Like a lot of people just kind of like to do the same thing day in and day out. I think it's very comfortable for them. I wanted to walk into a shit show every day. And so they just kept throwing different kinds of cabinets at me. I mean, we had guys that they would build the same thing day in and day out. And when they would make mistakes, they would literally like snap. It was really wild. Like we'd have guys that would just like storm out of the shop and they just leave for the day. They wouldn't come back. We had other guys that would throw their cabinets. They'd get so frustrated. Really weird kind of people in that business, but I just like working on whatever. So I got stuck with this guy named Bob, and Bob was this old like 70-year-old man who would hit you with his hat, right? So if you didn't pay attention to him or you didn't do what he was wanting you to do, he just fucking hit you with his hat, and nobody wanted to work with him. And my company kept him around because he was like this old sage, this old wizard, and this guy could just build anything. And he knew about making furniture, about making cabinets, and more specifically, he knew about making aviation furniture and tons of sheet metal. So I got, probably, I don't know, 10, 20 years worth of experience working with this guy for 4 years before he died. And I got to work on a lot of really cool projects, but more importantly, I got to work on the top secret stuff. So I worked on all the E-4B planes, which are the Boeing Doomsday planes. I got to work on all the Saudi princes, the Sultan of Brunei. I got to do a lot of the government, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration planes, the planes that they fly into hurricanes. I mean, I just got to work on so many freaking planes, and that doesn't even include things like celebrities. I got to do a lot of celebrity planes. I got to go to a lot of places where they have jets, places like hangars and things like that. You know, companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Nike and all these kind of. Anyway, I just got a ton of freaking experience working with all different kinds of aircraft. Big Boeing BBJ private planes, 787s. I met Richard Branson when I was doing the 787 Virgin Atlantic plane. I mean, just you freaking name it. Like I've worked on so much stuff, and I've been at it for like 10 years. Now I got my own company where I build really nice furniture. I hope people go to the Resplendent Crow or the Modern Woodworker and kind of see what it is that we build. So that's my spiel. So I'll go through questions. Let's see, I'll go through you guys. So let's see if we can get a conversation going here, and we will get to politics because I really do want to talk about politics. I'm really frustrated with kind of what's going on with our administration today. As a Trump supporter, to be quite honest with you. Okay, so Josh says Phantom 300. Yeah, we talked about the Phantom 300. And man, Ember Air, like what a nice freaking plane. They also do, was it the Predator plane now? And they had, I'm trying to think what other planes we worked on. I did the Phantom, and I did, God dang it, there was what, the Phaeton or something like that? Maybe it was it was the Phantom. Like I said, I don't remember all that stuff. That was a long time ago. Okay, Mississippi Menace, can you give a summary of what you do? It's my first time watching. So Mississippi Menace, my name's Eric Wilk. I own a fine furniture boutique company here in St. Louis, Missouri. We make everything here, right? I don't outsource things. I've had the opportunity. I've done videos on how you outsource if that's something you want to do. I do import a solid brass hardware from India. I design and have it all manufactured in India. I work with the manufacturer, and we do that. So that, I guess some people could say that I'm a hypocrite, but that's maybe 10% of my overall revenue, but that is something that I do. But I make tons of furniture. I make furniture for celebrities, for dignitaries. I made just wealthy people in general. My company, we target the 1%, right? So we're looking at people that have incomes of about $500,000 and up, right? And these are all the people that we target. This is who we market to. I do lots of videos on marketing, on how to start a woodworking business, what it's like to really have a woodworking business. And I talk numbers. I'll tell people what we make, what kind of revenue we have, what kind of sales we have, what shipping's like. I would never name my customers, but I talk about everything because it's just, I want people to be able to start businesses. I want people to be able to find ways to get into the game so that they can be successful and do the things that they want to do, even if it's not woodworking, just like whatever it is. I know that I really enjoyed being in aerospace and working on private jets and being around that really rich kind of environment. It's really nice industry to work in. But owning my own business, while it's 10 times as hard, it's just so much more rewarding. And that's what I'm always talking about, guys. It's not always about the money. And everyone says, oh yeah, it's nice if you have money. Like, I don't have a bunch of money. I've told you guys many times. I've literally had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank as disposable income. And then I've had to mortgage my home. I used to have a beautiful Lotus. I had to sell my Lotus because I had to make payroll. My wife's had to sell, Chanel jackets. And some years that's just how it goes. But that's what I talk about, okay? So that's who I am. That's what I do with this channel. So, okay. Who we got here? Okay, Josh says, talk about Jets, man. Yep. Okay, I did that. And it's the Mississippi Menace. Talked to you. Said hi to you. Yeah. What do you do, Max? I hope you got an idea of what it is that I do. And guys, you can all go to the Resplendent Crow and see the kind of furniture we make and stuff like that. And again, I don't sell subscriptions. I don't sell a course. I'm not trying to sell you guys shit. I sell furniture. That's it. I don't have sponsorships. I don't have Ford ambassadorships. I'm not trying to sell you guys stuff that I've white labeled and brought in from China that I can then hawk it to you guys like a lot of these social media people do. I don't do any of that stuff. I just talk business and just give you guys a real idea of what it is that we do here at the Resplendent Crow. So, okay, Hardaway, the Sparky Hardaway, man, Penny Hardaway was a baller, man. If you're into basketball, that guy was insane. I'm sure you don't have any idea who that is. Okay, a real man is rare. Congratulations. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a real man, but I just talk about stuff. Like, I talk about as a real person, as a real company owner, as a guy that wants his kids to do what it is that he does. I want to try and get my kids into this damn business of mine. I work with my wife. I've worked with her for almost 10 years at this point. Working with your wife, for me, it's awesome. Everyone else says, fuck that, I don't want to work with my wife. That'd be terrible. I've always liked it. I like knowing my wife is here helping me doing this stuff, and I get to help her, and it's really meaningful to me, and it's small business, y'all. I talk about my employees. I've got an employee from Syria who's now an American citizen. I've got Honduras. I've got, I think, Mexico. We've got India, and I've got Croatia. I've got all kinds of people that work at this company. I'm the only white guy, right? Which is kind of wild. And of course, I married an Indian. But yeah, I'm the minority here, which that's kind of how I feel like in America sometimes. But again, it's not a real popular thing to say. But whatever. Okay. See, Josh is super cool. Yep. All right. Beatree guy. They need to bring back the woodworking and other hands-on classes to the public schools. I was surprised to find out that a lot of districts don't. Yeah, and honestly, there's a lot more talk about that kind of stuff coming back. My son goes to school in Kansas, and they have an automotive shop. They have welding, and I believe they have woodwork, if I remember correctly. But there are some of those things in high schools. I think it's more of a rural thing, though. I don't think you're going to find it in the cities. Everyone talks about, everyone wants to get to the cities. They want to get an apartment, get a good job, and I think it's all wrong. I think the big cities are a scourge on this country. Like they used to be good, and I get why people would want to live in cities. But the big cities are it's a trap, y'all. Like, it really is. You got to get out away from the cities and in some of these rural areas. I live in a little town called Godfrey, Illinois, which is like 30 miles from St. Louis, which is obviously a big city. And I couldn't do it any other way. I don't know how people live in the cities. But yeah, there are a lot of schools, I think, that bring that kind of stuff back, and that's good. It needs to happen. I remember taking shop when I was in high school, and that was in the 90s. I imagine a lot of people on here probably did the same thing. And woodworking and doing anything with your hands really grounds you. It really I think a lot of kids today are on like SSRIs and are very anxious, right? They got anxiety and stuff like that. And I think when you work with your hands, when every day you go into work knowing that something that you're working with could either kill you or cut your hand off or knock your eye out, make you deaf, all these kind of things, I actually think it's a good thing, because it makes you aware of your surroundings, it makes you respect your environment in ways that I don't think other people would. And when you respect your environment, you are much more in tune and okay with your environment, right? You're not as worried, you're not as scared, you can't be triggered, right? You're not going to be nervous. And I think we need more of that today. I think we got too many people going to work and everything is nerfed. Society's nerfed everything for people and they got nothing to worry about. And again, welding, working with tools, whatever, doing electrical work, plumbing work, whatever. Fucking concrete work. Geez, you think a concrete worker's worried about anything? Those guys are as hard as it gets, masons and things like that. And that's a personal opinion. People can disagree with me. That's just kind of how I see it. Like, all my kids are summa cum laude, 4.4 GPA people. They're just like hyper intelligent, scared of everything. It's like, I don't know what to do about that. I can't get them to come in here and do this work. They've been in school so long, they don't know what to do in an environment like this, which is something I'm working on, and I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that kind of stuff, but again, I try and tell people kind of how it is. There's sometimes your kids don't always do the things that you want them to do, and they kind of do different things. I got one kid that is going to learn to weld, which is really cool. No interest in woodworking, right? Dad's like super good woodworker, owns a business, knows a lot of things, has almost 20,000 square feet of manufacturing space. No interest. But whatever, that's life. What am I going to do, okay? Let's see here. Hardaway the Spark says, nice, how can I get a job as electrical engineer? Well, I tell people all this stuff when it comes to whatever it is you want to do, whether it requires on-the-job training, whether it requires a degree, a doctorate, PhD, any of these kind of things, whatever the requirement is for that job, the best thing you can do is go find someone that does it, right? Go find a business that does it. And especially if you're young, businesses want young people, right? And so if you want to be an electrical engineer, you need to go find a company that needs electrical engineers. Figure out what that type of work is and go talk to that company, right? Go say, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm 18 years old. What do I got to do to get into this company? Because I really want to be an electrical engineer. I really want to go to school, but I'm going to work here while I go to school. Don't be one of these kids that just goes to school forever, right? You spend 4 or 5 years in college, right? There's no company that is going to know who you are when you get out. And guess what? While you're getting your electrical engineering degree, 100,000 other motherfuckers are getting that same degree. Whereas if you go work for a company and you express that interest when you're really young, we older people, all we want to do is help the younger people. That's all we want to do. By the time you get into your 30s, we're a little less interested in helping you. Bad habits that you have, a little bit harder to deal with when you got all these bad habits. A young person, walk right in the door. They will want to hire you. They will at least talk to you, give you advice, and you will endear yourself to that company. Like, I can't say it enough. And it's worse today than I've ever seen it. It's like than I've ever seen it. No young people come into these places and just ask for a job. The best cabinet maker I ever hired, his wife drug him in here. His wife had followed us on Instagram, and she didn't speak very good English. He didn't speak very good English. He had just come here from Syria like a year earlier. She's like, my husband, good woodworker. And she was showing me pictures of doors that he had carved in Syria, before the war. And I was like, man, that's kind of cool. And I said, hey, I'll hire you. I'll pay you $10 an hour. If you're any good, I'll keep you on. I'll give you a raise, and we'll go from there. Guy took his $10 an hour, came in here, learned how to make things, and he wasn't perfect, but he did a pretty good job. He came in here and learned. Now he makes like $33 fucking an hour. He's been with me for, I think, 5 years at this point. And he quit for a year because I had trouble with money. I couldnn't pay everyone. I had to not lay people off. What do they call it? Furlough people. For like 2 weeks, and he couldn't afford it. So he went and got another job. But he didn't like working for those other people. Came back to work for me. Like, we really do take care of our people as best we can. But that's my advice to you: is go look for a company. Don't be afraid to walk in the door. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm still in high school, or I just got out of high school. I want to go to college, but I kind of want to work. And there's this goofball on the internet that says that businesses want to hire young people, and go talk to them. Like, that's my advice. If that's what you want to do, but if you're 30, 40, 50 years old, you can still do it. You're just kind of behind the 8 ball. But the first thing you got to do at that point is probably go to school. You know, because I know how businesses are, and it's no experience, no degree, and even a degree is not that important anymore. If you can show people what you've done, they'll hire you. You know, but you got to go there. And I know that with applying for jobs today, it's kind of a clusterfuck because a lot of these businesses are pussies. They're using software to kind of weed out people because they're too chicken shit or they're too lazy to look at resumes. You know, and I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know how you get good at looking at hiring people, looking at resumes and hiring people if you don't look at resumes. Like I don't understand it, but whatever. I hope that's helpful. I don't know if that's good information or not, but that's the best I got, man. Okay, let's see. Billy Bob, I don't know what that was. I want to work for SpaceX. Yeah, I know a couple of people that work for SpaceX. My stepdaughter lives in Los Angeles, and there's a lot of people that work for SpaceX. Apparently, it's a great company. They make fantastic money. Not the manliest people in the world, you know, so take that with as you might. Working for SpaceX is not going to, probably not going to work on cars. I know it seems like that's something you would do, but you're probably not going to work on cars, fix houses, you know, replace decks, do foundation work. You're probably going to pay a lot of people to do stuff for you, and let me tell you, chicks don't like that. Chicks want a man that can do something. But yeah, SpaceX is a cool company. Okay. There I'm riffing on all kinds of stuff. That's what I do sometimes. Okay, awesome life experience jobs. Awesome. Yeah, John, I hope so. Like I said, I didn't know that this is what I was going to do. I said I never graduated high school. I just kept on working with the stuff that I like. I've always liked making furniture, whether it was for jets or for regular residential customers. I've just always loved it. I've never woken up and thought, God damn, I need to do something else. Never happened, which is apparently rare. Everyone in my family tells me it's weird. My wife tells me it's weird. I've always just liked making things, which is why I've made so much stuff. My house is full of my furniture. Every wife I've ever been married to, my house has been full of my furniture. Like, I just love making furniture. It's something I've always liked doing. And now, as I get older, I'm trying to teach people and get people interested in learning how to do this kind of stuff, because it'll take you far. And not just from a money standpoint. It definitely, I was never rich, but I always had enough money. Like, I always owned my own home. I bought my first home when I was 21. And this is making furniture, right? I was able to buy my own first home. I always had European cars. You know, I've never been an American car guy, so I had BMWs, Audis, and Mercedes. But yeah, it was always enough. It may not have, you know, I've never had it. I would never buy brand new cars, but I always buy used cars. And same with houses. I always bought used houses, obviously. But it was always a fine life. I never, there were times when it would be hard and I would want more money and I wish I had made more money. Maybe I'd wish I had went to school and these kind of things. But for the most part, it's just never a thing. It's always been okay. So, okay, let's see. Mississippi Menace says, what is your perspective on arm wrestling? Arm wrestling, you know, one of my favorite movies is Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. I love that movie. You know, I love how he's this blue-collar truck driver guy, and he's going to go pick up his son, who he has almost no relationship with, because I can kind of relate to this. I don't have much of a relationship with my kid, and I'm getting ready to have more of one. That's actually why I moved up to St. Louis from Savannah, where I was working at Gulfstream on private jets. And it didn't work out the way I thought it would, but it's never too late, right? And that movie, it goes to kind of show you, he works on this relationship with his son, and he goes to teach his son about arm wrestling, and his son just doesn't, he thinks it's ridiculous. And by the end of the movie, you know, his dad's a hero. And that's the thing about sons and fathers. Like, sons will always think of their dad as a hero. May not be all the time, you know, but it never leaves their mind. Like, their dad is always going to be a hero, and yeah, I love that movie, you know, but I don't have much thought on arm wrestling. Like, that's the thing I think when I think of arm wrestling is everyone probably thinks of that movie with arm wrestling, but great show. Okay, here. Okay, thanks for clearing it up. Yeah, good. Okay, and we got more arm wrestling. Arm wrestling is cool. Actually, I follow a chick. Now I think about it, you say arm wrestling. I follow a chick on Facebook that I used to do workouts with, and I used to be part of a workout group. We'd go outside and work out at like the stadium, or we'd go out to the beach where I lived out in Savannah and go do, there was like 6 or 7 of us who would go do workouts. It was a lot of fun, but she ended up doing freaking arm wrestling, not like this, but like, you know, arm wrestling. Okay, this is, I'm doing a challenge, ask people what they do, perspective on my favorite hobby, arm wrestling. Yeah, no, it's good. I think it's fantastic. And you got to be passionate about something. Even if arm wrestling, you know, it's kind of a niche thing, but hell, who doesn't do something that's super niche? Like, I lacquer furniture. I mean, how much more niche can you get? People think that painting furniture is sacrilege in many ways, especially when I paint vintage furniture, like old MCM pieces. Man, people lose their minds. Okay, Hardaway Spark says, I'm doing to stand out outside of SpaceX with a sign that says, hire me. You know, you could do worse, right? You could totally do worse. And again, SpaceX, you might be reaching a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but these companies that are revolutionary and that are, really, what's the word I'm looking for, like really captivate and grab the attention of society, they do a lot of crazy things, so anything's possible, but you might want to start off a little bit on the smaller side, find a local company that services SpaceX, right? So quick story about my aerospace. I didn't start working for Gulfstream and Cessna and doing Boeing Defense Center stuff. I didn't start out that way. What I started out with was working for a company called Baumhoff, right? Baumhoff was a company that was doing, they were doing furniture for Bombardier, right, which is a Canadian aviation company. They were making cabinets for them, and then they ended up getting bought out, and I got laid off 3 months after I started working there. I just moved from Oregon to Kansas, was working there for 3 months, and they laid me off. They laid off everyone and rehired the people that they wanted, and I wasn't one of them because I was new. I didn't have a chance. So I ended up going to work for a company called Global Engineering Technology there in Wichita, Kansas, and they were providing furniture for a company called Raytheon, which later became Hawker Beechcraft, right? So it became Hawker Beechcraft. They were doing Cessna CJ2, CJ3 cabins, and they were doing some other like smaller stuff, but that's where I got in, right? Working for the smaller company that then led to me working for a company called Nordam, which is a large multinational conglomerate that was doing more large, what they call large cabin jets, right? These would be your commercial jets, things like that. I did a bunch of Virgin Atlantic work there, but then that got me to my dream job, which was working for Gulfstream, right? Gulfstream is the 800-pound gorilla of private jets. They're the best of the best, the most desirable jet in the world. And there are plenty of other jet companies, but talk to anyone that owns one, and they're the only company that matters. So, okay, I'm 31 and electrical apprentice. Oh, that's good. Construction industry is slow in Southern California right now. Yeah, man, and it's not just construction, man. Like every industry that I've ever worked in, it's feast or famine. It's very rare that business is just nice and smooth. Like you got to have government contracts for that, and government's what I want to talk about when I first started this talk, because I'm just pissed off at the amount of waste and the amount of spending our government does. You guys know that a third of our entire economy is basically paid for by the federal government. People with government contracts getting federal dollars, which are your dollars, they're my dollars, and they're going to things that I don't think they should go to. And that's your oil companies, right? Like who really needs tax write-offs when you're $100 billion a year company? I don't think you need that kind of stuff, but that's just me. So yeah, but as far as the construction industry goes, it'll come back, man. Like California's in a tough spot right now. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon, and we always detested Californians coming up to Oregon, buying all of our shit. And then Californianized Oregon, and then they went up to Washington and Californianized Washington, and now I can't even go back to the West Coast. Like all my family lives there. I won't talk to most of them. Like my dad's about the only one, my grandma maybe, but anyone that's young, no way. They're all brainwashed and old dinosaur like me, uneducated, don't know nothing. California will come back though, man. It's just, California always comes back. It's a very resilient state. A lot of firsts come out of California. There's something about that place. Probably it's the most beautiful state in America, the best climate, and really a treasure. And I think that's why everyone goes there. They just want to be there so bad. That's where you get all these great industries. Automotive industry used to be there. Tech's a big one. I mean, you just get a lot of innovation out of that place, and it'll come back. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, and if you were really serious about construction and getting into electrical engineering, I moved 4 or 5 times in my life to get where I am today. Don't be afraid to move, man. Like I said, I loved Oregon. Oregon's beautiful. I was an outdoorsman. We used to go elk hunting every year in Hell's Canyon between Idaho and Oregon. Used to go Chinook salmon fishing, on the Rogue River, down there in Southern Oregon. Spent a lot of time on the Columbia River, and had to move. Had to go. I used to go skiing in fucking Hoodoo on Mount Hood all the time. Had to give it up, man. It was the best thing I ever did, and I still miss those days, but I don't miss the way that I felt when I lived there. I always felt like a loser when I lived in Oregon. I don't feel that way anymore, and I think that even if I moved back today, I would still feel that way. I never fit in there. Maybe something to think about. The East Coast, a lot of money on the East Coast. Texas is always booming. Everyone seems like they're moving to Florida, but Florida's always booming. The treasure, if I was going to go anywhere right now, and I've talked about this before, there's 2 states that I would go to right now. My favorite state in America is North Carolina. Gorgeous. Or Georgia. I'm going to put those two in the same. They both have the Chattahoochee Mountain Range, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Gorgeous. The biggest mountain east of the Mississippi is in North Carolina, Mount Mitchell. Beautiful, right? The other state is Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the most beautiful states. Tennessee has more waterfalls in it than any other state in the country, right? More than the fucking Rockies, like, which is wild. You'd never even think that that was even possible. There are an insane, like Cumberland State Park there, amazing, guys. So I don't want to lose people on. I'm an outdoorsy guy. I love outdoors. I grew up in the outdoors, but getting out of Oregon was the best thing I ever did, you know. So something to consider. I know people don't like when you talk about moving, but it's just, I think more people need to consider getting away from where they're at to a place that has a little bit more opportunity. But take that for what it is. Okay. It says, yes, I'm a woman in construction. I was labor first. Now I'm an extra apprentice and fell in love with construction. Yeah, no, it's good. And that's awesome, man. Chicks need to be in construction. One thing I'll say about it, though, is that chicks need to understand that they're in construction, right? And their job is to conform to the way construction is, not construction's job to conform with having women in the workplace. I'm sorry to say that. I'm a big proponent of everyone getting along, right? And I don't like this idea of PC culture. Everywhere I've ever worked, the women have nastier mouths than the men. And for some reason, society has convinced everyone that we need to change our work environments to meet women's expectations of whatever the workplace should look like. And I reject it with every fiber of my being. So I hope you're not one of those people that cries to HR and bitches about hearing, you know, nasty words and dirty talk. And, you know, you have a workforce that's 90% men, you start telling dirty jokes and, you know, women get offended. And I think that's complete horseshit. I'll tell you a quick story about that. So when I was in New Zealand, I spent about 6 months in New Zealand. I remember the very first time I walked into Air New Zealand, right? This is a airline for the country of New Zealand, right? This is a large corporation. I walked in there and I'm going to the offices, you know, meeting my foreman basically. And there are naked chicks in everyone's cubicle. And I mean, not everyone's, but a lot of cubicles. Like fucking pinup posters like in Playboy. Titties hanging out and, you know, just all dolled up and looking sexy. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? I could not believe what I was seeing. And the first person I had talked to was a woman. I'm just like, what is it? How are you guys allowed to have this, guys? And she looked at me, and I swear to God, guys, I swear on my life. She says, well, what do you expect a man to have in his cubicle? And God, was she right? Was she so right? And that's when I knew that the way that we were living, we were being brainwashed. You know, it's like you can't expect a man to not be a man. You can't expect a woman to not be a woman. You know, and it's just like what do you expect a man to have in his cubicle? It's like, yeah, men like to look at chicks, you know, even if they're married. Like, we like to look. Doesn't mean we're going to do anything. But yeah, it was wild. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen. So glad to hear you're in construction as a woman. And man, I hope it works out for you. And I hope I've given you at least something to think about. I'm not, you know, I've never claimed to be the smartest guy in the world, but I've been around a little bit. I've had to move, and it's worked out well for me. So all right, continuing on. All right, David Spencer, good to see you. Nice save. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'll kind of guess there. Okay. See, true. Let's see. What is the one thing in life that you would warn young people not to do? Oh man, I would warn young people to not get in debt, and not because I mean, debt's fine. You're right if it's decent debt, but if someone is willing to give you a bunch of money when you're young, you need to be thinking about it, right? And as parents. Again, if someone wants to give you a bunch of money when you're 18 years old, you need to be saying, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would you want to give an 18-year-old $100,000, right? And, of course, I'm talking about education. But it goes with anything in debt, right? You don't want to get into debt very young because it'll haunt you the rest of your life, right? When you get out of school, you have to get a job that will allow you to not only pay for housing, automobile, insurance, food, a woman or a man, you know, animals, all those kind of things. You got to have student loan debt on top of that. And I think that at this point, we all kind of know that that's a major problem. But that goes with anything. If you get credit cards, a lot of young people are getting credit cards now when they're really young. And these credit card companies are predatory. I think they're, I've got credit cards. I got a credit card with $8,000 balance on it, you know. It's like, and I spend it all on dumb shit, you know. I need to pay that thing off someday. And I just, can't bring myself to cough up that much money to pay it off. But that would be my advice. Don't get into debt very young. Like, if you need money, like say your parents don't have money, you need to go to work. There's nothing wrong with working, and today, work is more valuable than it used to be. The most important thing you can do as a young person is be curious and show up every day. Show up every day, and you show up on time. You do those things, and you'll win. You'll win at life. All the opportunities that you want will come to you. You won't have to go chase them. We got another person in here, asking about, well, what do I want to do if I want to be an electrical engineer? I'm telling you, like, go to the businesses, right? These opportunities will come to you if you start working young. And not everything is going to seem like an opportunity to you, but you'll get a lot of swings at some really cool shit in life if you're working. When you go to school, there's no opportunity. When you stay home, there's no opportunity. And that's okay for certain people, but if you want to get somewhere in life, you gotta be in the places where the opportunities are, and that's gonna be outside working. That's gonna be outside having cocktails. That's gonna be outside hanging out at the park. It's gonna be going places and doing things, but more importantly, just being at work. Showing up on time every single day, and show up on time. It's the most important thing you can do as a young person. That and staying out of debt. Be very careful with debt. It's a very tricky thing. Debt has haunted me my entire life. Holy hell. Let's see here. It feels like a recession. So do you guys really want to talk about this? There's no recession going on. There is if you're middle class. And if you work for a company that sells things to middle class people, yeah, it probably feels like a recession. If you're in the construction industry, probably feels like a recession. Again, I'll go back 20 years. Every year that I've been working in aerospace, I've never been through a recession. Our country's been through several of them. I've never been through one, because rich people are always buying, right? They're always buying jets, they're always buying houses, they're always buying really nice stuff, but they're not always buying Nike tennis shoes. They're not always buying whatever, I think some other things. They're not always buying, haircuts and all these kind of normal things, steaks and hamburgers and macaroni and cheese, like stuff that we think about. That's not the stuff they're really buying. They're buying, like I said, private jets. They're buying big houses, art. They're buying cars, expensive handbags. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but that's what they're buying, and that's what's propelling our economy today. And I feel really bad for people that make less than $25 an hour, because it's really hard. And what I want to talk about in the original part of this video is the reason for that is not what you think it is. It's literally almost all because of the federal government. It's just absolutely out of control, and I can go into why that is. But yeah, my company here at the Resplendent Crow, it's not a recession for us. This has been the busiest year I've had since COVID, right? And COVID was wild. I did 1,500 pieces in a year during COVID. I did that for 3 years. Now I'm doing 500 pieces, which is a fantastic year. I'm super happy with what we're doing. I think it's great. But there's no recession for us. We're super busy. Our slow periods have not been slow periods. They haven't showed up. I would say this week, sales-wise, has probably been the slowest week between Christmas and New Year that I've had all year long. And again, that's because we sell to the wealthiest people. A week ago, I sold a $20,000 desk. I've sold $45,000 tables this year. I've done entire homes for $100,000. I've got in the works 22-foot tables, massive construction projects in Austin. Like people are spending money, guys. It's just not the poor, the poor and the middle class. They're not spending money. They're just buying the essentials, and that's it. Everyone else is just, it's raining, And again, I'm sorry to say it, but that's just how I'm seeing it, and that's just being real. But it is what it is. The best thing you guys can do, I say this whenever I do these streams, best thing you can do is to own your own business, right? Start a side hustle, and everyone says, "Oh, side hustles, it's bullshit." Blah blah. Like, it's not bullshit. You gotta do something. But what I say, my advice that is different than everybody else's advice is I say that your side hustle has to be what your main hustle is, right? Your job is to get so fucking good at what it is that you do that you're better than the people that you work for, right? Or you're doing something in the same realm of the people that you're working for, You just do it better, or you do it differently than they do. But you have all that knowledge, right? Elon Musk has a quote that I love to talk about. He says that, people that work 80 hours a week get better at people that work 60 hours a week get better at everything than than people that work 40 hours a week, right? You get better at everything 50% faster by working that extra 20 hours a week. And it's 100% true, right? And if you work 80 hours a week, like I've done a lot of my life, you get 100 times faster, right? You guys, you see how this kind of works. So if you're doing an 8 to 5 and you do furniture like I did, but then when you get done, you're making furniture for other people, right? But you're doing it your shop, you're doing it your way, you're doing your kind of furniture with your clients, you're learning how to sell, you're learning how to market, you're learning different ways to build things, different kinds of materials, you're learning different things while you're working your 8 to 5, you're getting better that much faster. You start yourself a business, you learn how to sell things. When inflation kicks in, right? Like it's been kicking in ever since COVID, right? Ever since we blew all that, we printed all that money and fucked everybody. If you have a business, as inflation creeps up, guess what the cost of your goods do? They creep up with it, right? And guess what happens to your salary? It creeps up with it. Provided you continue to sell and you continue to do what it is that you're going to do. That's the only way I know to beat it, right? And everyone says buy assets, and how the fuck do you buy assets if you have no money? You need to buy gold, you need to invest in stocks. You got no fucking money. What are you supposed to do, right? Whereas if you work, right, you work your 8 to 5, and then when you come home, you do the same thing. You've already got the skills, you already got the knowledge, you don't got to pay for none of that shit. Maybe you got to pay for some tools. Tools are a lot cheaper than stocks and real estate. You can become so good at something that you can then do it for yourself. And that's the stuff that I tell them because it's what worked for me. And again, people might disagree with me and might have a better idea, but that's just what I did. And it worked out good for me. And I didn't graduate high school. I thought this fucking blows. I hate going to high school. I'd rather play Magic the Gathering, which is what I did. Basketball and Magic the Gathering. Holy hell. So anyway, I don't know if that's good advice, y'all, but it's what they call it's a K-shaped recovery. Unfortunately, if you're poor or middle class, you're losing ground every day, or you're just treading water. If you're rich, everything you have is going up in value, and you're just getting stupid rich, man. I know how to fix it, but which I wanted to talk about that, but I just haven't got to it. 40 minutes into this thing, and I appreciate everyone being here. I really enjoy the conversation. I like, telling people about our life and our company here, and I think it's cathartic, to be quite honest with you. So, okay, yeah, I'm considering moving out of California. Yeah, and it's, again, like, California is, like I said, I'll say it till the day I die, it's the most beautiful state there is. It's gorgeous, and I used to love going there. I used to go to Napa, and go wine tasting, hang out in wine country, like Calistoga and all that, and I loved it. I mean, it's the only place I would want to live. It's like New Zealand, except right here on the mainland, but it's full of Californians, So, sorry, dude. Like, there's not many people in this world that I loathe, but most of them are from California. And it's not, again, I mean, I'm sure you're a great guy, but it's just, I grew up in Oregon, like I said, and we just got a sour taste in our mouth starting in about the 90s. And I just never, I've seen what the education system has done to my kids, and I just can't. I'll never be okay with that state. I'll never be okay with what they've done to people. I'll never be okay with the kind of ideology that they've brainwashed people with. I'll never be okay with it, But most beautiful state there is, and if I had a choice, I would want to live there, just not with the Californians. So, okay. Let's see, Mrs. F. I know what that is. Yeah, I learned my lesson. I had to toughen up. Well, and honestly, you just saying that's all I need to know. Like, you get it. You understand the way guys are, and the truth is that men, we will be sensitive to women. Like, we're just evolutionarily, we are always going to look out for women. We're always going to want to be, providers and caretakers, and just we want to keep women safe in general. But when you put us with a whole bunch of guys, like, there's only so much we can do. Like, we'll protect you. A whole bunch of guys is great if someone's fucking with you, because we'll go kill them so that you're safe and no harm comes to you. But when you get a bunch of guys together just talking, we don't perceive talking as being a bad thing. We tell dirty jokes and, look at the tits on her, like that kind. We are doing that as a camaraderie thing. Like, men, that's how men bond. Like, we bond by fucking with each other. And I don't know that women do the same thing. They might. But you kind of seem to understand that. And that's all we could ever ask for. It's like, we'd love for you to hang out and work with us. Come on, work with us. Just don't ask us to stop being men. You know, don't ask us to clean up and look a different way, act a way. Like when I worked in corporate America, they used to have us go to these, there's like sensitivity training. When I worked for Gulfstream Aerospace, we had to go to sensitivity training every year. We had to go to whatever, where implicit bias training, right? Because we're all fucking racist. You know, I fucking married an Indian. My best friend growing up was a Blaxican. We all just had to go do these things because we're white, I guess. I don't know what that's all about. But these corporations are nasty. They're just nasty, guys. And yeah, it's a major problem. But you've got it figured out, man. Awesome on you. Very nice to meet you. Okay, get on to 45 minutes in. Okay, I don't know how long my mic's gonna last here. We gotta see what we got here. All right, mic looks okay. Okay, I want to talk about government, right? And we've talked a lot about all kinds of things in this talk so far, but probably make this not brief. But basically, what we've got going on is our federal government is not acting on behalf of the people anymore. And again, as a business owner, you're never supposed to talk politics. It's pretty much taboo. And I don't think that my customers are watching this, so I think I can get away with it a little bit. But the truth is that if you guys look at what, and I say this as a Donald Trump supporter, like I thought this guy was going to be great for America, but you can clearly see this guy's bought and paid for it. Like he is not doing the things that he said he was going to do. He did shut down the border, which is good, because having all these illegal immigrants come in has done a couple of things, right? It's driven up the cost of housing. It's driven up the cost of healthcare. It's driven up the cost of everything, right? Because these are people that are unplanned for, right? You can only build so many houses. You can only have so many doctors, right? So many dentists, so many healthcare professionals, so many childcare professionals. You'll have so many of these people. And when you bring in people that are never going to do that work, you end up with supply and demand imbalance, right? And that's what we have going on today. And so the first thing we got to do is, like, it's great that we've shut off the spigot, right? We plugged the hole, so there's no more water coming in. But now we got to get the fucking water out of the boat, right? And I married an immigrant. My wife is from India, and I love immigrants. I got no problems with immigrants. But what I will say is immigrants got to be useful. And immigrants have to contribute to society. And I know of two kinds of immigrants, right? There's the kind that do not and the kind that do. And I've said it many times. I would happily trade 2 Americans for 1 hardworking immigrant, because America's forgotten how to work. And it seems like a lot of people on here that are hard workers that are doing a lot of good. And that's amazing. But in my 10 years of hiring and firing people, I'm really disheartened by the work ethic of America. And maybe it's just my industry. I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just generalizing for myself. Immigrants like to work. Immigrants work hard. They do the things that I talked about for young people. They show up every day, ready to work, and they work their ass off, and they do a great job. Americans don't do that anymore. And our federal government is pandering to everyone right now for votes. And they're taking our dollars, and they're giving them to everybody. Fucking everybody, okay? And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Like, we bring in over $5 trillion a year in taxes, right? Like, you guys don't want to know how much, I pay 6 figures in taxes every year for my business, and I don't make 6 figures. Like, it shouldn't be that way, right? I pay all this money in taxes. Everybody pays all this money in taxes. But our government, it's not enough. They print another $2 trillion every year. They print it out of nowhere, right? It's wild. It's absolutely wild, right? And if you guys have noticed, the federal government just started garnishing the students, right? The people that got student loans, right? They're basically saying, hey, you got to pay back your debts. Well, what the fuck is our government doing? What about their debts, right? And they'll say, oh, that's our debts. That's the citizens' debt. Like, fuck you. That's not my debt. I didn't sign up for any of this shit. I didn't sign up to print $2 trillion a year. I didn't sign up to print $11 trillion during COVID. I didn't sign up for any of that stuff. And I don't think a lot of people signed up for that stuff. You know, if you're one of those people that did, I'm talking to you, man. You guys need to knock this shit off. You can't vote for money. That's not America. America's not a place where we vote to take from somebody else to give to ourselves. That's not what it's about. You know, Kennedy said it, ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you, right? Right, I said that backwards. That's not what your country can do, but ask what you can do for your country, right? People got to start contributing and stop using the congressperson as a tool that they can weaponize against the people that have what they don't, okay? And I'll agree that large corporations, oil companies, tech companies, all these people, Amazon, these large corporations that pay no taxes, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. There should not be these massive deductions as you become these massive companies. I don't believe that's a good thing. And they'll always say things like, well, they use that money to employ people and to spend on research and development. And I'm here to tell you guys that that's not true. It's not true. Do they spend money on those things? Of course they do. The bulk of it? No. No. They're buying back stock and they're giving it in dividends to people that own stock. They're basically allowing rich people to get richer. They're not helping the average citizen, right? And this is something I have a real problem with, but the average citizen has to fucking help themselves. At some point, you cannot rely on the federal government forever to prop you up. And again, this is what, when I always talk about helping young people, we have got to teach young people how to do things. We have to teach our kids how to do stuff that is useful. When you tell someone to go to school to get a fucking basket weaving degree, you can't expect them to pay that loan off and then go out into the world as a normal functioning citizen. It ain't gonna happen, right? We got this person in here, female, working in the construction industry. That's as real as it gets. The skills that woman is learning, like everywhere she goes, she's going to be able to do something. It might not always pay the most, but everybody she knows is going to want her opinion on something. She's going to want her to help her make something. Maybe if she's an electrical engineer, maybe they got some engineering work. How do you use this program? What does, what's span mean? Whatever it is you're doing, what's, drum peel, what's all these different kinds of engineering related things. That information, it's useful, it's practical. It has, what they say, it's, oh God, there's a good word for it, but it's real, right? It's a real thing. You're not just doing knowledge work, you're actually making something that somebody else can do something with right away. You get to see what you did every day. It's not theoretical, it's practical, it's real. We have to teach people how to do this stuff. Otherwise, we're gonna end up with another 2 generations of people that go to fucking school and learn nothing, right? The reason we send all these people to school was because in 2001, we let China into the World Trade Organization and they fucked this country so bad, we can't fix it. It's almost not possible to fix. They fucked us so bad, right? And it wasn't China that did it. It was the corporations that did it worse than anything, guys. And again, sorry about the profanity, but I can't talk about the subject and be all nice. There's nothing nice about it, okay? I just put out a video talking about Restoration Hardware's business model, okay? And if you guys know nothing about the furniture industry, just know that they're a ultra luxury high-end furniture company. They sold our entire country out, guys. As soon as they were able to manufacture stuff in China, they sent all the furniture makers' jobs to China, okay? They're all over there. The construction jobs, right? The construction industry, how much of your shit gets made over in the third world and then brought back here and you simply install it? Doors, windows, all these there's all kinds of stuff that gets made. Gypsum board, These large corporations have sold our country out. And they've done it for cheap labor. And what they do is they do that. It's good for their balance sheet, right? Which looks good for their quarterly shareholder meeting. They then get to pay themselves bonuses. They get to pay more dividends to their shareholders. They get to give money out to people that don't work for the fucking company, right? They're not building up skills here in America. They're not teaching people how to make things, right? How to do stuff that's real. They're not doing any of that stuff. They're having all that stuff done over there. Okay. Meanwhile, and this is the fucked up part, guys, they are lobbying Congress to increase the minimum wage, to increase workplace safety rules, to increase transportation safety rules, to increase environmental protection rules. They're doing it at the federal level, the state level, the county level, and the city level. They're increasing all the regulations here in America and then sending all the work that would have to abide by all those regulations to the third world. And this is what has fucked our country worse than anything, guys. Because think about it. You can only do that if you give the young people something to do, right? So they send everything. It starts with NAFTA in 94. And then 2001, we got the World Trade Organization letting China in, okay? What happened about that time? They sent everybody to college. Everyone's going to be a knowledge worker. Who would want to work with their hands? That's for losers, right? I've been called a loser my entire life. My entire life. It's never stopped. Hell, I still get called a loser. I've spent my entire life trying to prove all those fucking people wrong, and I've done it. And it feels really good. But it doesn't change the fact that they sent everybody to college, and now that everyone's done going to college, there's no fucking work for anybody. The third world got all your work, right? And when they talk about things like CNC routers, things like dies and casts, right? How many times have we heard, oh, America doesn't do that, America doesn't do that. Why do you think we don't do that? We sent it all overseas. The corporations that used to do that work sent it over there. Now we don't know how to do it. We created the competition that could potentially put America out of business. We did that. It wasn't China came in here and stole all the work. We gave it to them. Why do you think they're so good at making EVs and CNC technology? We gave them all that shit. You know, Taiwan makes all the fucking computer chips. Who the fuck do you think created the computer chip? Oregon. In Oregon, Intel, this company called Intel, is made by a guy, his last name's literally like Fagan or something like that. Fagan, I forget what it is. He created the fucking microchip, right? We created this technology. We don't do that here anymore. And now they're like, oh, we got to bring back all this technology. We got to do that stuff here in America. Oh, and what are we going to do? We got to spend tons of money. Tons of money. Now they want trillions of dollars to start fabs in Arizona and fabs in South Carolina and fabs in I think it's like Ohio or Indiana or something like that. That's what they want to do. They just want to spend money. We had this shit here, and they gave it all away. Corporations gave it all away. And meanwhile, while they're wanting all these regulations, right, they're saying, oh, we need tax cuts. Even though we make, $20 billion in profit, not revenue, profit, we still need tax cuts. And who's going to pay for that stuff? Taxpayer. Taxpayer's going to pay for all of it, right? You know why you don't have universal health care? It's because we give it to fucking people who already have money. And again, anything the government gets involved in, it gets ruined. And I know we need government. I'm not saying we don't need government, but healthcare, fucked. Okay? The reason you can't afford healthcare is because the government got involved. Cut off the federal spending. Guess what would happen to the price of healthcare? It would plummet because demand would plummet because in the initial year, nobody would be able to afford it. Nobody. It would be too expensive for most people. And the only thing that can happen when you have a massive supply and no demand because your price is too high is the price has to come down. It's a complete fact. Like you can't argue with it. That's the only thing that can happen. But they'll never let it happen. Remember what Trump said here, a couple of weeks ago? He says, oh, we can't stop importing all the Chinese because our universities will go out of business. So what? Let the fucking universities go out of business. It is not our job to teach the rest of the world how to compete against us, right? America is a very unique place, guys. And I know this because all of my workers are from other countries. My wife is from India. Her whole family is, of course, from India. America is a very special place because the people that we let into this place are thinkers. They're workers. They're innovators. They are not parasitic, lazy fucks. We're letting too many of these people in. We've got too many people that are really intelligent, super smart, that are bleeding hearts. They're letting all these parasitic fucks come in here who are not going to be intelligent. I'm here to tell you guys, as a dumb person who never graduated high school, and all my kids are 4.0 plus, summa cum laude, all that shit, okay? College makes smart people smart. It does not make dumb people smart. Work makes dumb people smart. Work gives dumb people the opportunity to do what it is I do because I'm a dumb person. There's nothing wrong with being dumb, okay? There's nothing wrong with being less intelligent than the fucking smart people that get to go to college. Just because you get to go to college does not mean you're less. Or excuse me, if you get to go to college doesn't mean you're better than somebody else. If you don't go to college does not mean that you're less. We have to get away from this idea that only the good people go to college, the dumb fucks don't go to college. We've got to get away from that, guys. It's got to stop. You got to get the government money out of education. You got to get. They can pay for first grade through 12th grade. I think that's fine. There's issues there as well, but you got to get out the colleges, guys. It's the person that is in here from California. California, the education system there has ruined 2 generations of minds. I know people that won't have children because they're worried about climate change. Like, how sad that makes me? Like, how can you brainwash somebody that has a 4.2 GPA that they shouldn't have kids because they're worried about fucking climate change? How do you do that? How does that work? I don't understand that. I don't understand what that is. The only thing I could surmise is it's the education system, which is funded by the federal government, guys. And all the money that the colleges keep, it all goes into the endowments for them to blow on whatever they want. And they're all playing the stock market like a bunch of fucking gamblers. What the fuck is academia doing gambling in the stock market? They should be gambling on students. Every one of these students that went to college that can't get a fucking job to pay for their college, why isn't the federal government going after the universities and saying, give those people their fucking money back? Your degree was bullshit. You sold them a bill of goods. You lied to them. You owe them 4 years of their life back with interest. I don't understand it. These people are never held accountable. The government, all they do is take and take and take and take. Have you guys seen anybody get arrested for COVID? Nobody. You see anybody go to jail for all the bullshit they pulled during the 2016 election? Anything? Anybody? You know, and again, I like Donald Trump. I think the guy's a fucking piece of shit now, but I still think that what they did to that man was ridiculous. Nobody's gone to jail. Nobody in our government ever goes to jail. Ever. It doesn't happen. And they just keep spending and printing and trying to pit the poor against the rich, the big company against the poor company, or the small company. That's all they know is division. They've never brought us together. They do not bring us together. They take, I mean, you guys think about the tax side of things, okay? And I know that there's people that don't have a lot of money, and they struggle, you know, from week to week, month to month. I get it. But do you realize that I struggle? Like, I have payroll, right? I got to do payroll every other week. My payroll's like, I don't know, like 20 grand, 40 grand a month, right, in payroll, okay? Every fucking dollar that I pay out, I got to pay 7.4% in payroll taxes. For what? For what? What, for the right to employ people who fucking pay the federal government taxes? Why do I have to do that? It makes no sense. I pay taxes as an employee. All my employees pay taxes as employees. What the fuck do I got to pay payroll taxes for? Doesn't make any sense. I could hire another person to pay taxes. I could hire another person to teach them how to get out of poverty, how to grow their skills, and do what it is that I did. Dumb fucking guy from Oregon, no education, didn't graduate high school, figured out how to make over $100,000 a year for years. I was making 80 grand a year when I was fucking 30 years old. The businesses in America, the business owners, the people that do the real work can teach society how to do stuff. Academia has failed this country. And not because they haven't taught rich people. They haven't taught educated people how to be more educated, smart people how to be smarter. It's because they lied and told dumb people, we're going to make you smarter. And then we shamed everybody. We said, oh, you're racist, you're sexist, you're some kind of an ist if you don't hire this fucking idiot that has a 4-year degree. She's black. Give her a fucking degree. She's got a degree in HR. Let her fucking dictate how everyone should act in a corporation. What the fuck is wrong with people? I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. What, because she's black and a fucking woman? She's probably a lesbian too, right? It makes no sense. That person shouldn't be in a fucking corporation. They have no skills. They've never done anything. We did that for 15 years at this point. Every single corporation I've ever worked for has one of these people in them. And they ruin these jobs and these corporations for anybody that works in them. We all fucking hate it. Everyone I know hated it. Because of this fucking educated degenerate that we had to fucking put in there, otherwise we're going to be called some kind of an ist. Like, it's horrible. And the federal government paid for all of it. They paid for all those people. They paid for the people to get the dumb fuck degree. They gave the dumb fucking corporation the tax cuts and the tax breaks to hire that person, right? You want this money? Hire this fucktard from college because she's black and a lesbian. Put her in a job. We don't care what kind of job. Just hire her and you can have all these benefits. That's what's happened. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. And this isn't a racist thing. This isn't a sexist thing. This is none of that. This isn't, it's none of it, guys. You just need people who do work teaching other people how to do work. Real work, practical work, not this theoretical bullshit. You want to work in the theoretical world? Great, go learn from the people that do the theoretical work. Colleges, got to knock this shit off. Cut the fucking funding from the federal government for the colleges, for the healthcare, for the Section 8, the food stamps. Fucking cut it all. You want to see people ship up? Ship up. Ship up or ship out. You know, they said. If you want to see people get their shit together, cut it all off. It's horrible, and a lot of people would fucking hate it. But guess what? When you don't have any fucking free money coming in, guess what? You become a much better employee. You're much more willing to show up on time, get off your fucking phone, right, and listen, because you really need that job. You really need to learn those. You're a lot more interested in learning from the dumb, racist fucking white guy who never went to fucking college or didn't graduate high school. You're much more interested in learning how he did it because you're the same fucking idiot. And guess what? If I can do it, anybody can do it. You don't need to go to college. You don't need to get some loan from the federal government to go $100,000 in debt, spend 4 years of your life not working and endearing yourself to an employer, and instead cozying up to some dumb fucking probably gay professor with all these idiotic ideas about climate change and how the world's fucked and no one should have kids and women can be men and men can be women, and just completely destroying what makes this country great. So I'm probably repeating myself at this point, but I see what's going on. I've seen it for a long time, and it makes me so sad. Like, there is so much opportunity in this world for people, and there's so many businesses like my own. We want to teach people how to do stuff. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to just teach people. If an 18-year-old walked in today and said, need a job, I don't need to hire anyone right now, I'd fucking hire the guy. I'd hire him. I'd take the money out of my own fucking salary, and I'd hire the guy. You know, because I want to take a chance on these people. I want people to learn stuff. I want people to get excited about doing something that's real, not learning from some fucking goofball at a college. You know, tell them how fucking misogynist men are, and how if you don't get a degree, you're some fucking loser if you got to go work concrete, you know, on the construction site. You know, if you drive a piece of shit Honda Civic with work boots, you know, you're a loser, you know, because you don't have a nice tie and a suit on, drive a fucking Benz to work every day. Fuck those people. Those people have fucked this country up so bad. It's horrible, guys. It's fucking horrible. And you can tell, like, I'm super passionate about this because I live in both worlds. My wife's got 2 degrees. Everyone in my family has been to college, right? My kids, they've all got fucking degrees. Summa cum laude, super intelligent. You know, they're amazing people, you know, but they all got issues, man. They all got fucking issues. And people would say, yeah, you got issues too, Eric. I don't dispute that. But I do own a business. I do hire people, I fire people. I teach people how to make furniture, how to fix furniture, how to sand furniture, how to transport furniture. My world is furniture. I teach people how to do advertising, how to talk to people, how to show up on time, the basics of life. Never not had a job, never not paid taxes. You know, just been a great contributor to this country, and I'm tired of seeing it being fucked over by the very people that we're supposed to vote for. As they let, you know, tens of millions of people come in here who just suck off of this country. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of it. The amount of taxes I pay is absurd. Absurd. I shouldn't have to pay all that money in taxes, you know? And again, I don't need the money. I don't want the money, but I want to be able to hire people. I want to be able to buy more equipment so that I can show people how to use this planer that's behind me, this table saw, this bandsaw, this joiner, right? That pin router, that wood lathe over there, the shaper, the drum sander, the edge sander, the disc sander, the panel saw, the miter saw. Maybe they want to learn how to use CNC routers, AutoCAD, SolidWorks, SketchUp, CATIA. These are all programs that I've used, and I know how to do all this shit. But who the fuck is going to learn it if all you want to do is get some dumb fucking degree from some goober who never did anything in his life? Most people that are teaching college today, teaching school, they fucking failed. That's why they're there. I would never go to university and teach people because those fucking people don't want to learn what I'm teaching them. If they wanted to learn it, they'd come work for me. And that's why I tell everybody, go work for somebody. Stop being a bitch. Don't go to college. Take the easy way out because it's fun. Maybe your fucking college has a wave pool, right? Oh, it's co-ed dorms. Like, fuck you. Go make some money. Stop leeching off everybody. You know, and parents, same thing. Get your fucking shit together. Get your kids right. Get them to fucking do something. Stop telling them to go to school because it's easier. Well, then they just go to school. I don't have to worry about it. Fucking teach them something. Anyway, I guess all the rant. I'm going to go through my comments. And yeah, I just, again, I know that I'm not super smart. I've never claimed to be smart, but I've seen a lot of shit. I've moved around because that's what I had to do in order to make money, to support my family, to buy houses, to buy cars, to go on vacations. You know, I've been divorced twice. You think I've been divorced twice because I'm a terrible person? No, it's because I fucking work all the time. It's what I had to do. And I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I finally found someone who likes to work as much as I do. Hell, maybe even more. There's somebody out there for everyone, you know. But anyway, okay. All right, let's go through. Okay, learn my lesson, toughen up. I went through that one. Got that. Pay attention. Then, okay, it's called DEI. Yeah, I know it's called DEI. I don't care what you call it. Like, I just call it like I see it. I know what it is. Guys, you're in the thing. Hit the like and subscribe button, all that kind of fun. So I always forget to say that kind of stuff because I just get on here, I just rant, and I talk to comments, and you know, it's a lot of fun. But you do hit the like button. You got to hit the subscribe button. It's good for the algorithm, all those kind of things. So okay, it's called DEI. Yeah, Aaron Brothers Speak the Truth. Who's a CB pilot? We got 46MD. Let's see, where are you in Florida? This is Andrea Leakey. Andrea, that's the name of my first wife. Okay, Andrea, are you in Florida? No, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. So if you guys go to splendidcrow.com, you'll see our business. We are a furniture company. We make furniture. We do a lot of high gloss lacquering of furniture, which is a high gloss shiny. It's the kind of finishes that when you look at it, it looks like a mirror. You know, you could do your makeup in it. We are the people that do those finishes. We have one of the, probably the finest finish in the industry. Well, maybe not the finest, but we do a really good job of our finishes. We make a lot of really nice high-end bespoke furniture. We have a large clientele of designers and wealthy clients, and it's just built it up over the years. So yeah, so I'm not in Florida. I have a lot of clients in Florida. I lived in Georgia, in Savannah, Georgia. I go down to Florida a lot. Been down to Florida many times. I love it down there. I love going down to Key West. I like Key Largo. But yeah, just a beautiful state. I consider if they were ever to abolish property taxes, I might just sell all my shit and move down there because I don't believe in property taxes. You know, I pay. Let's see here. I used to pay $1,000 a month in property taxes to live in Illinois, and my wife just recently told me that our taxes went up to now we're paying $1,300 a month in property taxes. So I'm looking to get the fuck out of Illinois. It's probably gonna be the last state that gets it figured. I think California will figure it out before Illinois figures out. Like how they ever elected that fat fuck J.B. Pritzker, I will never understand. Like, there's not a worse example of a head of state that you could. I mean, there's no worse example. Like, who could elect this guy? What kind of voodoo did this guy? What kind of spell did this man cast on people to think, oh yeah, I want the fat fuck. I want the guy that, you know, looks like if he fell over, fucking gravy would come out of his fucking leg if he broke it. Like that. I don't understand that. Doesn't make any sense to me. You know, because he's from the Hyatt family? What, they thought, oh, he must know how to run a state into the ground. I don't understand. Why would you vote for this guy? It makes no sense to me. If there's ever been a fucking poster child for Ozempic, and I don't believe in Ozempic, it's that fat fuck. I despise that man. He is all about identity politics and pitting, you know, gay people against straight people, black people against white people, and like, what a fucking piece of shit that guy is. So sorry, you guys are getting it all the time. I'm just going full send, right? Okay. Let's see. 46. Are you familiar with the Gallery Furniture and Mattress Mac in Houston? No, I'm not. I buy my veneers from a company called Wood Gallery, but that's in Dallas, Texas. But no, I'm not familiar with that. So elaborate. What is that? The Mattress Mac in Houston? No, I don't. And again, I haven't spent a lot of time in Houston. I spent a lot of time in Austin, in Dallas, a little bit of time in New Orleans. I'm kind of going down the thing there. But I've never actually. I don't think I've actually been to Houston. I mean, maybe I've driven through there, but I don't think I have. Spent a lot of time in Miami, a lot of time in, like I said, Savannah, a little bit in Orlando, but yeah, not Houston. So you're gonna have to fill me in there. Okay, let's see. Super Pilot 24. What do you recommend getting wood? Where do you recommend getting wood for a beginner furniture hobby DIY? Well, what I asked for is what do you want to make? You know, a DIYer can make all kinds of fun things, but what is it you're looking to make? You're looking to make furniture. You're looking to make cabinets. Are you looking to make birdhouses? Like simple projects like cutting board. It all kind of depends on what you want to make. Most cities will have, and everyone's got like a Home Depot or a Menards. Menards is actually really good. You're going to pay a lot for the wood, but Menards has a fantastic collection of surfaced what's called S4S wood. You can get mahogany, maple. I'm trying to think, they probably got walnut there. They got a lot of pine. They got all kinds of fun stuff. But if you're going to be a DIYer and you want to make something, I think it's good for people if you want to learn like a bunch of different skills. Making a cutting board is a great place to start. You know, a lot of people tell you, you know, just make some little super simple project like you know, like a clock or something, you know. But I think cutting board is a great place to start because you can make it out of anything. You can make it out of pine. You could make it out of walnut, oak, maple, whatever. I mean, just fucking whatever you got laying around. You can make it out of multiple woods. It doesn't really matter. But what it teaches you to do is what you got to do to all that wood is that more importantly than surfacing it, you don't really got to worry about surfacing. You got to clamp it all up, right? And clamping is one of the hallmarks of furniture making and woodworking that I don't think a lot of people talk about. But you take all that material, right, and you have to cut it up. So you need probably a table saw of some kind. You can buy, there's a lot of cheap table saws on Facebook Marketplace. You can get all the tools you need for probably $2,000. And I mean like good tools, like actual machines, right? Not just hand tools. But you get yourself a cheap little table saw, you know, $300-400, and run all that material through there, right, for your board, you know. Then you got to get some clamps, right? Clamps you get at Home Depot, you get them used on Facebook. Facebook Marketplace is a great place to buy stuff. I've been in business for 10 years. I still buy stuff on Facebook Marketplace to this day. I can't bring myself to pay full price for a tool. It's very rare that I buy a tool brand new. I'm cheap. But anyway, those clamps, you glue all that stuff, you know, you paint your wood glue on there, you glue that thing up. And that teaches you about, you know, clamping up material, getting that material to stay in line, right? I think that's a really important skill. But then you take that stuff and you have to surface the top of that. You know, you can surface it with a planer. If you have a planer, you can buy cheap planers for $300-400 as well. You can also surface it with a router. You know, if you need help with that, you know, hit me up in the comments or something like that. I can teach you ways you can surface things with just a router and a surfacing bit. There's all kinds of ways to do that. But I say there's more than one way to skin a cat. But anyway, you surface the top of that cutting board, and then you take yourself a router and cut a nice little groove into it, you know, so you learn about running a router, how the direction of router bits work, whether you move into the material or you pull away from the material. It teaches you a lot of really good skills, and then at the end of the day, you got something that's practical, right? And I'm always telling men, especially men, like, fuck the money, guys. Women want a man that can do shit. You know, and you say, oh, if you got money, you can pay for it. Yeah, she's gonna fuck the guy that your husband pays to do the work, okay? Trust me. No woman wants a man that just has money. Women want a man that can do something. Make your woman a cutting board. You know, it's not to say like, hey, bitch, get in the kitchen. You're not saying that. You're saying, look what I did, right? You know, you can fix doors, fix a leaky faucet, fix the car, you know, fix the windows, fix the roof, do all that stuff. That's the thing that women want, at least in my experience. You know, I've been married 3 times. You know, I say maybe I don't have it figured out, but every single one of them wanted me to make them something. Every single one of them wanted me to work on the cars and work around the house and help them with, you know, whatever, making shit for the garden, working on the fence, all these kind of things, you know. So yeah, a cutting board, and I kind of went off on a tangent there, but cutting board's a good thing. I think cutting board's fantastic. And even though I make fun of the people on YouTube that are like, oh, I made $1 million selling cutting boards. Like, no, you didn't. You did not make, you don't have a full business cutting out cutting boards. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I think that's a good place to start. All right, let's see, what do you reckon? Okay, I think I answered that question pretty well. CB Pilot, you got a High Point? Yes, I do. I go to High Point, not every year, but yeah, I've been there many times. I just love North Carolina, honestly. But yeah, so High Point's a really cool place. High Point's a place where, and actually, I want to be an exhibitor there. I'll do a couple of videos on exhibiting there. I wasn't so sure that it was like it would really be good for my product, but my wife's convinced that it's something we need to do, and I got a buddy who is in the furniture space and is more successful than I am. He went to High Point and said that it wasn't really worth it. He kind of like broke even for the most part. Cost about 80 grand. No, I take 50 grand. It takes about 50 grand to put on an exhibit there, you know. So it's not wildly expensive, but it ain't cheap either. I mean, 50 grand is 50 grand. But yeah, I may be there this year. But normally I just go to look and kind of see what people are doing. Seeing what kind, talk to designers and things like that. Because the great thing about High Point, and what you guys need to understand about High Point is, yes, they have furniture and they have, you know, couches and rugs and all the things that interior designers would want in their homes. But everybody that goes there is qualified, which is, if you want to be in business, guys, that's almost the most important thing. There's nothing worse than spending time talking to a customer who's a fucking tire kicker. And what I mean by that is someone who's not really going to buy your product, right? And everyone at High Point is pretty much a qualified purchaser. You have to be in order to go there. They do open it up to the public if you have a ticket, but the first couple days, none of those people are allowed there. It's only qualified people. These people that are looking to buy. So that's one of the cool things about High Point that I really like. Everyone's qualified. So yep, been there many times. Okay, who's in here? SFL6, good to see you. Glad you're in here. 4670 says, Mattress Mac made this fortune selling furniture off I-4 in Houston. If you Google his name, you'll recognize him. That's cool, man. That just goes to show you can, I mean, anything's possible. Like if you're creative enough, and there's all kinds of ways. That's the great thing about America, is there's so many different ways to make money here in America. It's wild. You know, I mean, you got people that literally make money just doing this. They just talk. I mean, how many personalities do we know on YouTube? Kind of idiots, really, but they're entertaining, right? They make a ton of money. Or they just talk about, they react to videos, or they talk about, you know, current events and things like that, and they make millions and millions of dollars, and it's wild. You know, America's a great place. I mean, look at what my wife did. Literally started this company painting furniture in her garage, 1.5 car garage right here in St. Louis. Spent a year doing that, learning how to spray, and then she got on this site called Etsy, right? I think everyone knows what Etsy is at this point. And she painted, it was like a dresser and a couple of nightstands. High gloss lacquered it in some kind of a navy color, and put that on Etsy. And a woman bought it, right? She paid her it was like $500 or something like that. And my wife's like, holy shit, somebody just bought this thing that I painted. And yes, you put it on Etsy, so she had the intention of trying to sell it. But the person that bought it lived in Casper, Wyoming. Okay, so for those of you that aren't geographically savvy, if I'm in St. Louis, kind of in the center, Missouri, Kansas area, right here in the middle, Wyoming's way the fuck up here, okay? It's out in no man's land, in Casper, of all places. And so my wife didn't quite know how to get that thing up there. So she got on this site called Uship, which is an internet-based shipping company that kind of puts people that are selling things and need things shipped with shippers that ship all over the country. And so she got in there, she got a quote, and the quote was like $600. And she's like, man, no one's gonna pay that. They only paid $500 for the furniture. So she emails the lady back, she's like, it's gonna be $600 to ship this up to Casper. And the woman's like, no problem. And my wife's like, I see what's going on here, right? People will pay. If you have a really cool product that's hard to come by, you might say, well, anyone can pay for it. There's furniture all over the place, okay? There isn't painted furniture all over the place in Casper, Wyoming, right? In Nantucket, where I ship stuff, Martha's Vineyard, there's not, what we do is not available up there. So those people happily pay for it, right? So think about it, right? So lots of different ways to make money in this world. You can get on the internet, right? Like a lot of people in the woodworking space that I'm in, that fucktard Bourbon Moth, like I loathe that guy, you know, but very entertaining and very impressed with what that guy's done. Fantastic at what he does, but he has a website. He sells drawings, right? I even bought one, right? I had to see, I had to know what this guy was doing, right? Sells drawings, right? Does a YouTube video on how to make something, sells a drawing with it, and the guy's now, I think he's sponsored by Ford, right? Does all these goofy videos. I think the guy's ridiculous, you know, but good on him, man. Guy makes a shit ton of money, and, you know, talks about his little kid and his wife, and makes things for people, and, you know, there's a lot of different ways to make money, guys. You don't just have to work for somebody, you know. People that are in the construction space, you know, we had that person in here talking about working, start off in concrete, and now is doing electrical engineering, you know. Tell your story. People like to listen to other people talk about things that are familiar to them, right? Like people that are woodworking like to listen to other woodworkers. People that are in construction probably like to listen to other construction people. You get sponsorships, right? You can get clicks. You know, the YouTube monetizes all this stuff. You know, so once you hit a certain amount of hours, you can pay for it. You get paid for it. You know, so there's a lot of different ways to make money. Like I sell hardware, right? I worked with a company in India, and we make hardware, right? You know, there's all kinds of things. Consultation. Like if you're really good at something, you can set up a Patreon page, and you can sell content, set up a website using Shopify or WordPress. There's all kinds of companies out there. Sell what you do. Tell people what you do. Best thing you can do is get on social media, show people what it is that you do, and then have a website. Direct to that website, and you can make money that way. There's like a lot of different ways to make money in this world, and you don't always have to work for somebody else, but you do have to learn how to do something, and generally working for somebody else is how you do it, which is what I told you guys before. If you want to make a lot of money, you want to get really good at something, do that as your 8 to 5, and then come home and do it again for yourself. And before you know it, you'll be the expert, and you can potentially make money that way. So, all right, let's go with the rest of our comments here, and we'll call it a night, guys. I got to get out of here. Okay, he's known for selling American-made furniture. Yeah, I'll look him up. Mattress Mac. I'll do a Google search on my way home and check it out. Because I love the way people make money. I love entrepreneurs. I love even my customers, right? I work with a lot of wealthy customers, and I'm always asking them how do you make your money? You have no idea, guys, how many people make money in the goofiest ways. I got people they're land developers. I've told you guys the story of how I had Don Corleone from The Godfather walk into my shop, buy some nightstands off me, turned into like $100,000 deal for a house. All kinds of people that just do, people that are into, I had a guy who has a civil engineering company, sold it, made like $100 million. Comes in just buy some furniture. I got a guy who collects Porsches. Him and his wife come in. He was driving a brand new Tesla Cybertruck before everyone else had one. And then we talk Porsches because I had a Lotus, right? I'm a car guy. I love cars. I love Audi R8s and stuff like that. And he collects Porsches, so we talk about, there's all kinds of ways that people make money, It's kind of interesting, So, anyway, all right, more comments. Let's see here. He's known for selling American-made furniture. Okay, cool. Oh, son, hey, son's in here. Son, good to see you, man. Buy the nice tools to make a big cutting board is only 2.5 times the price of the cutting board. Yeah, no, it's definitely cheaper just to buy a cutting board, son. But the good thing about buying the tools slowly is that you learn how to use them, right? And then you're not making cutting boards. You're making doors, you're making dressers. You're making, right here, let's turn this guys over here. I'm building kitchen cabinets for my wife. So she wants a new kitchen, right? So we bought our dream house during COVID when interest rates were 2.85%. I'm one of those guys. I got one of those homes. I can never move because I got a super low interest rate. But she wants me to make new cabinets. So I've started building cabinets. And it's I don't build a lot of kitchen cabinets. I've built a couple, but I'm definitely not a master at it. But we got pocket doors here, and we got this nice little pull out here, right? This thing pulls out here. It holds all her Nespresso K-cups, and this all appliances in here, So, but you learn to make all kinds of stuff, And just because you're making a cutting board today doesn't mean you're making a cutting board tomorrow. And when I was ranting earlier about people making stuff and using their hands and doing real shit, the skill of making furniture transfers over to all kinds of things. Making furniture translates into working on your house, fixing your car. Doing concrete work, roofing work, putting in windows. I redid a deck. It has so many practical applications. Unlike the theoretical work. The theoretical work is fucking worthless, man. If you find a place that wants it, great. You're gonna make a ton of money. You're the 1%, right? When you make furniture and work with your hands, anyone can do it. It's so useful now because we spent the last 15 years not doing it. We told everyone that they were losers if they learned how to make furniture. You had to have a 4-year degree, otherwise you were worthless. And now, the skill of working with your hands pays $100,000 a year. I know people that I've worked with that are fucking idiots, make more money than I do, working for other people. It pisses me off, but what am I going to do? I can't do nothing about it. good on them, I guess. So whatever, it is what it is. So, but son, man, good to see you. I'm glad you're back. See, I was saying you might as well buy a planer and joiner and make your own. Oh, yeah. What? Who's selling cutting boards for $750? That's one hell of a nice cutting board. I need to get out of the furniture game and start making cutting boards. I could probably crank out a dozen of those a day. Just glue up a whole bunch of wood, pop it on the CNC routers, zip out all the things, and then whack it up in the table saw, sand it, ship it, done. Seems like pretty easy money to me. The big chonker ones. Okay, yeah, I'm out of the loop, man. I don't know what what people sell stuff for anymore. I don't pay attention to that stuff, to be quite honest with you. But I'll bet it's expensive, man. Anything that's wood gets a pretty good, pretty penny these days, you know. So anyway, Sideman, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I hope everything's going good with you. Bitcoin's down, dude. I don't know why, but I guess it'll probably come back up. Maybe are you buying the dip? I'm kind of curious. I know you always talk to me about about Bitcoin. I still have never bought Bitcoin. I know that I should. I'm just not an asset buyer. He says, yeah, buy some. Yeah, I should buy stuff. I don't know what to do with my money. I just save it. I was my parents wrote me a check for $10,000 for Christmas, just because my parents are awesome. They're just like really nice people. And I went to cash this check, and they put my wife's name on there and my name. And Bank of America wouldn't cash my check. And so I went down there, and I'm like, why you guys won't cash my check? You know, like, well, you know, we used to allow another person to endorse your check, and we would cash it, you know, but we don't do that anymore. And I'm like, hey, come on, man. Like, I've been with you guys for 15 years. Like, I run millions of fucking dollars to this place every year. What do you mean you can't cash my piddly ass $10,000 check? I fucking cash these things every week. Like, what do you mean? Because this one's a personal check for my parents that has my wife's name on it, you're gonna cash this check? I can literally go down to the check cashing guy up the street, the Indian guy. He'll cash my $10,000 check. Give me $100 fucking bills. He'll do it for $100. How come he can cash that check, but Bank of fucking America won't cash Eric's check? I don't understand it. I was so pissed, and I told my parents about that. my stepdad, he's such a baller. He's so funny. He's like, I used to have a bank account with this, you know, UMC bank. He's like, if I fucking call those people right now and told them to write a $100,000 check to you, they'd fucking write you a $100,000 check. And it's just like, whatever happened to like having a personal relationship? Like, it used to be that like loyalty meant something, you know, but now you're just a number, guys. Like, everybody is just a number, and it's we got to fix this stuff. We got to fix this country, guys. Like, this country's going to hell in a handbasket. I thought Trump was going to really like do some good around here, you know, cut off the welfare and kick out the fucking the immigrants and fucking do some good. But no, he's not. He's not going to stop spending. I really thought that we'd get a balanced budget at some point. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen either. We're all just going to fucking pay taxes forever in perpetuity. Our government's just going to give, like, it's hilarious, right? We print $2 trillion a year. Yet we love to give money to the third world, right? We love to, you know, we're paying for countries right now. We basically pay to defend Europe. You know, we're paying for this war in Iraq. We pay for fucking anything Israel wants. We got money for that. We got money for everything. Everything. Like, there's never, no politician has ever said no more money. We're going to balance the budget. I don't know what we do. And the taxpayer just keeps saying, yeah, just stick it up my ass every year, give away all my money, and here, we'll just give it all to the poor. The poor can be poor forever. We're just going to give them lots of Section 8, lots of food stamps. You know, we got this thing in Minnesota going on where fucking childcare, I know what the hell's going on there, but we're just shoveling money to the poor instead of saying, hey, you know what, you motherfuckers, you're going to have to learn something. You're going to go to work. We're not giving you money anymore. You want some fucking money? Your fucking employer's gonna have to sign off that you showed up to work for 40 hours a week and you made some goddamn money and paid some taxes. Otherwise, we're not giving you any fucking money anymore. You know, but we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna continue to print money forever. You know, do you guys know that the federal debt, just paying the interest, just the interest, is gonna be over $1 trillion this year? $1 trillion. Nobody's saying, no, I'm not paying that bill. You know, they're just like, no, we'll keep paying it, whatever, just tax me. Tax me whatever you want. I'll just continue to take it up the ass and give money to lots of parasites, lots of people that you really shouldn't even be here. We're just going to fucking pay for everybody. Pay for the world. Pay for the defense of the world. We'll pay for all the poor in the rest of the world. And if we can't pay for them, we'll just bring them here. We'll bring them into this country and we'll pay for them then. We need workers. Well, they don't fucking work. They don't know how to work. You know, we'll send them all to college. We'll give them all student loans. We give them all student loans. Well, they still aren't fucking useful. They have a 4-year degree. Yeah, but they're fucking retarded. You cannot make dumb people smarter by sending them to college, guys. Like, I know I'm a broken record, and this is not a popular opinion, but we're in trouble, guys. We're in a lot of trouble, you know. And that's the stuff that I really want to talk about. Like, we are in a lot of trouble. We got to teach people skills that pay the bills. Skills that pay the bills. Like, you guys ever heard this thing called free cash, right? That's the money you have after everything is paid for. You pay the employees, you pay the rent, you pay the insurance, you pay all the fucking vendors, right? You pay the government, you pay everyone. That's your free cash. That's the money you get to then pay for the next month, right? Plus whatever sales you can rummage together to then do it all over again. Most people don't live on this system. It's wild. It's wild. Oh, God, it's absolutely insane. Like, we just give everybody free money with no expectation of paying it back. No expectation of getting on a plan to then become a taxpayer, right? If the fucking government wants so much taxes, when are we going to make more tax? We need to make more taxpayers. You know, we're not making more taxpayers. We're just saying, well, we want to take more from the taxpayers, not make more taxpayers. Well, bring in the illegals, bring in the fucking, the asylum people, bring them all in here. Well, they don't pay any taxes. Well, what the fuck are they doing here? Why are they here? They don't pay taxes. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're bringing more people in here to then give more money from the taxpayers to people that aren't paying the fucking taxes. Anyway, probably should be done. I know I've probably said enough. And yeah, I'm ready for the taxes to slow down. You know, I'm ready for the freebies to slow down. Hard to fix your country when the people that are sucking off of it have the same vote as the people that are over contributing, you know. And I'm not talking about the Bezoses and the Musk and all these people. They all need to knock it off too. The amount of taxes that these companies should pay is way higher than it currently is, you know. And you can say, well, they pay all the taxes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, let's make some more fucking taxpayers then. Start expecting more from the potential tax base that is your country, and stop expecting the people that are paying to then pay more. You can't have a country when you don't expect more from your people. You can't have it. You cannot have it. You gotta cut off the welfare. You gotta cut off the freebies and say, you know what, motherfucker, you want some money? It's there at the job. The J-O motherfucking B. That's where it's at. That's the money. Oh, I don't know how to do nothing. I can't do nothing. Great. Federal government will subsidize your wage with that employer. Guess what? I'll hire a fucktard if I'm only responsible for half their salary for 3 months so that I can try them out to see if they can actually learn something. You know, and you get these people, they go through 3 or 4 jobs, they can't learn anything, they don't get it out, then get them the fuck out of here. If they're here on asylum, get them out of here. If they're here illegally, get them out of here. If they're a naturalized citizen, get them out of here. If they're an American, send them to fucking some island or something. Get them out of here. We need taxpayers. We need people that want to contribute to America. You know why women have to work all the time? It's because the federal government has fucked us in the ass so bad and made everybody have to work. You can't make any money because your job was sent overseas. How nice would it be if your wife could just stay home, you know, take care of the house, take the kids to school, you know, bring the kids home, you know, make food, you know, go get a side job if she wants, you know, maybe dress herself up looking kind of nice. Like, how nice would that be? Only one person in the house had to work. You know, and if the guy wants to stay home and do all that shit, let him stay home. Let the woman go to work. But it shouldn't take 2 fucking people working 2.5 jobs to be able to live in this country. And it's never going to happen if you outsource all the work and bring in all the fucking parasites and the people that don't want to contribute or can't contribute. It doesn't work. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, buddy? You ain't going to make it here. You got to go. Oh, but I love America. America's amazing. A land of opportunity. Yeah, but motherfucker, you ain't smart enough to be here. You can't contribute. Whatever you do ain't working. And we're tired of paying for you. We're tired of paying for your kids, your cousins, your fucking aunts. We're tired of paying for all of it. We don't got enough money. We're printing $2 trillion fucking dollars a year. Our country is slowly going. You know how this is going to be solved, and I hate to say this, guys. It's going to be solved one of 2 ways. We're going to repeat the French Revolution where we basically fucking take all the rich people and cut their fucking heads off. That's what's going to happen. That's what inevitably leads to. and it shouldn't be that way, or the other thing that's going to happen is when we start saying that our debt, we're spending $2 trillion a year in interest, $3 trillion a year in interest, guess what's going to happen then? Federal government's just going to print and print and print, and Sun's Bitcoin's going to go to $10 million a coin. Houses are going to be $1 million. McDonald's is going to be $100,000 for a Happy Meal. And then China's going to come over here and say, you know what? We're going to go fucking take your country. You owe us money. You can't pay your debt. We're going to come take it. Guess what? You don't have to pay the debt. We're going to take your fucking country. And guess what? Then you got this massive conflict. All because we didn't want to say no. We don't want to say, no, you don't get a fucking freebie. Well, I'm poor. I can't help myself. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, great. Here's a year of help, and generous help at that. But get your fucking shit together. Otherwise, get the fuck out of here. America is not made for losers and parasites. This is the land of killers. This is the land of opportunity, innovators, people that want to work from dusk till motherfucking dawn, 375 days a year, 65 days a year. That's what America is. America is not made for the weak. It is not made for, they give us your weak, give us your poor. Yeah, we bring the weak and we bring the poor here and we build them up so they become badass motherfucking savages like the rest of us. But we haven't done that. Feminization has killed this country. Academia has killed this country. The fear of being called racist, sexist, misogynist has killed this country. I say that as a capitalist, as an entrepreneur, as someone who has rich people, poor people. I'm married to a fucking Indian. All my employees are from all over the world. I love immigrants. I love the people that work for me. I love seeing them grow their lives, grow their skills, contribute to this company. I love keeping them happy. But if they don't pull their own fucking weight, you think for a second I'm just gonna be like, nah, it's okay. He's black. She's gay. It ain't fucking happening. And no one can shame me for it. No one can, oh, Eric's the this and that. And you go fuck yourself. This is my company. I run it the way I want to run it. You don't like it? Suck my motherfucking dick. And it's vulgar, guys, I get it, but people need to hear this stuff. We can't just continue to be afraid of everybody. Be afraid of being called this, being called that. We're Americans. This is our country. We bring people in from all over the world, and we teach them how to be badasses. We teach them that the guy that comes from Somalia that's fucking a pirate can come here and become the CEO of a $10 million company, $100 million company. The woman that comes from whatever, Uzbekistan, doesn't speak any fucking English, can come here, learn something, everybody wants it, billionaire overnight. That's what makes this country great. But if we don't expect people to be fucking badasses, they're not going to be. And we have not expected that for so long at this point. We're left with, have you guys seen what it is? You guys seen what the stock market is, right? Son, you'll know about this. The fucking stock market is made up of like a dozen companies that rule everything. That is not America. That is not America. S&P 500, fucking no companies are making any money. S&P 500 is flat except for a couple of companies. The country would be in all-out recession right now if it wasn't for this dumb, fucking retarded AI bullshit. Everyone is spending all their money on AI. Every AI company is jerking each other off, right, with contracts, propping up their stock prices, jacking them. Oh, I'm buying from this company. I'm buying from AMD, and AMD is buying from OpenAI, and OpenAI is buying from Anthropic, and Anthropic's buying from NVIDIA. And it's just this massive circle jerk. And it applies to none of us, guys. None of this shit is going to help you. None of it. It's just insane. The fervor around these companies blows me away. We have these data centers that are going up. You guys notice your fucking electric bills, right? You guys seen the amount of water that these data centers need? Like we have, they tried to put one here in St. Charles. St. Charles said, fuck off. You know what they did? They put it in anyway. City Council overrode the vote of the people and voted to put it in anyway. That is not America. That is not democracy. That is theft. That is an oligarchy. that is authoritarian. It's anything but a democracy. The people said no. The company said, go fuck yourselves. Here's some money. We're going to do it anyway. You're going to learn to like it. Fucking bullshit, guys. And it's going on all over the place. And again, people they got to open up their minds. They got to open up their minds. Okay, I'm going to go through comments real quick, guys. My phone's almost dead, but I appreciate everyone hanging out. Let's go and read some comments, and we'll try and do another one of these this week. I appreciate everyone hanging out and talking, and I know that I can use profanity from time to time and have a very authentic point of view. I hope people can appreciate that. Okay, so all right, let's see what Sun says here. All right, let's see. Sun says, I've never worried about day-to-day price. Okay, yeah, I know, Sun, you're in it, man. That's cool, man. I hope you make killing, dude. I hope you just crush it. Say, just don't keep you. I know, yeah. Fuck the dollar. The dollar's worth nothing, guys. You got to get rid of the dollar. You just got to buy stuff like, especially assets that go up with the cost of inflation. So you buy silver, it makes more sense, but not monopoly money. Yeah, I don't know. Silver took a beating, but of course I know it'll come right back. Everyone needs silver. Silver's in everything. I don't know if people understand that. Let's see. It wouldn't take too many people asking for 10,000 before they got. Yeah, right. Man, you're 100% right there, son. Let's see. That's by design. Who is this? Lenneth Hall. Is this Lenneth Hall? Yeah, Lenneth Hall, 6402. Thanks, Trump, for making America great again. And again, yeah, no, Trump isn't making America great, man. Like, there's making America great, and there's America first, right? Like, Trump is bought. Like, and again, I say this as a Trump supporter. Like, I really support this guy for a long time. I'm the guy that had the tapestry on his deck. Like, I'm that guy. But this guy's bought and paid for. Like, there's nothing this guy won't do for foreign countries. He just wants to bully everybody and fuck the world. Like, I'm tired of Europe can fuck off. They can take care of themselves. Ukraine and Russia, that's between them. They can figure that shit. We don't need to be there. We want to sell some weapons, great. Otherwise, fuck off. We're not giving money to Russia, to Ukraine, to NATO, to Israel, to fucking Mexico. Wherever we're giving out money, no more. Until we have a balanced budget, fuck everybody. We're not. You want us to control the seas? You want us to protect all the waterways? Great, happy to do that. But we're doing that for us. We're doing that because we want cheap shit from China, and we want to be able to, send stuff transcontinentally. That's it. It's not. We're not favoring any other country. We're taking care of the homeland. Until then, fuck everybody else. I'm done. I'm fucking done with it. And yeah, Trump needs to get his fucking needs to get these other countries' dick out of his mouth and start acting like he cares about America. He wants to help. When he said the other day that, we don't got to be careful making too many houses because that'll bring the price of housing down. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself and your fucking house bullshit. I bought my house for $550,000. It's probably worth $1 million right now. You think I give a fuck if my house goes back down to $550,000 so the rest of the people can buy houses like I did when I was 21 for $100,000? That's way more important than protecting the fucking houses, the price of housing. That's bullshit. Trump is a fucking cocksucker for that, and I hate him for that. I hate that comment. It's very short-sighted, and he's just worried about the old vote. Like, fuck that. Start thinking about the young people. Stop worrying about the fucking boomers and the people that have Social Security. Social Security is going to fucking bankrupt us because you people can't stop getting your hands out of it. Get the fuck out of Social Security. When Social Security was started, there was something like 20 people paying in for every one person. Now it's like 2 people paying in for every one person. And oh yeah, everybody's living longer. Get the fuck out of here. Social Security's going to be protected forever. We're going to protect Social Security. The math doesn't math, motherfucker. All right, next up. Let's see, I want to know the percent was removed. I want to know the percent he's removed, not a number. Yeah, again, it's all bullshit, son. It's all bullshit. Like that, we're removing 1,000 people a day. It sounds good. It sounds awesome, right? But do the math. Like, how's that? If you let in 10 million people in 4 years, what's that math out to? What? 30,000 people a day? It's like, get real. People have to understand that this guy, who, again, I voted for, I'm still a fan of to a certain degree, but he's fucking us. He's lying. He's lying through his fucking teeth. Where's the Epstein files, right? This Kash Patel, like, what a fucking joke. That Dan Bongino, what a fucking joke. Also, they talked all this shit, and the minute they got in there, they're like, I don't. I hope when that Dan Bongino goes back on his talk show, everyone fucking abandons it and says, you fucking cuck. Like, I hope they all just, Epstein killed himself. Like, fuck you, man. You spent years talking about this. The minute you get in there, suddenly you don't know anything. Kash Patel, like, fuck that guy. Like, dating that honeypot bitch that he's dating, like, get the fuck out of here. No one's dating your ugly fucking ass that looks like that. Get the fuck out of here. These people are all a joke, you know? And this is this America first thing. Like, people talk about that Nick Fuentes guy, you know, like, what a fucking piece of shit that guy is. Like, yeah, maybe he is. But the stuff that he's saying, he ain't wrong. You know, I don't agree with all the shit that he's saying, but I don't disagree with all of it either. You know, and that's okay. Who's the other guy out there? Dave Smith? Like, that guy, he's got some things, he kind of, he's a fucking comedian. Yeah, but what he says resonates with me a lot more than what the experts are saying. The experts are liars, guys. The experts aren't really experts. The experts are only experts when they can propagandize you. You know, it's son, you're gonna get me going. Okay, let's see, Ronnie, yep, okay, who's this? That Minecraft Lego guy. Great name, man. That's why I'm building multiple YouTube channels. I'm on 16 and I monetize. Oh, man, that was freaking awesome, man. Good for you. Good for you. I want to monetize at least 2 more so that I can get a job. I will get a lot of extra income. Man, you're on it, and you're young. You're young. That's freaking awesome. There's a channel from a guy called What If Autist. His name's Rutger Lynch. Started his channel, I think, when he was like 10, 11 years old. Did the same thing. It took him about 10 years to really get it, but he started young just like you, man. Keep it up. Keep making content. And again, you're going to get people that like you and get people that don't like you, but keep it up. You'll find your tribe. You'll find your people that like you and talk to them. Don't worry about what everyone else does. Awesome. That guy's got it figured out. Who is that? That Minecraft Lego guy. Okay, I'm going to try and remember to go subscribe to your page, man. Good for you. Peace and happiness. Sorry, guys. I'm going to talk till my phone dies, and then I'm out. So I think I'm at about 8%, okay? So I'm going to keep going. Who's this? Zildin Zone? That's a symbol. I'm a metal guy. I played fucking metal guitar forever. I believe that's what you got going on there. And there it is. There's a symbol. I see it. Peace and happiness. Man, good for you. Thanks for coming and listening, guys. Are you a Trump supporter? Yeah, I kind of am, but man, I'm not one of these sycophant guys. Like, I like Trump because I thought he would lower taxes, he'd close the borders, and more importantly, he would prosecute the people that put this country where it was. Alejandro Mayorkas needs to be tried for treason, right? When that guy was talking about the border being secure, nobody's talking about that guy. He needs to be tried for treason, right? And until that happens, fuck this government, okay? The whole the Joe Biden thing, pardoning his entire family because he's worried about what Trump would do. They did everything to that guy, everything, you know, and that's wrong. When you can't pardon your family, there's something completely, the minute you do that, you're guilty. Everyone you pardoned is guilty. You know, those, Trump pardoned the J6 people. That was all bullshit too. The people that hit cops, great. Throw those people in jail, let them serve their time. But everyone else, get them out of it. They don't need to be in jail. We got other things to worry about. So yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm not that much of a Trump supporter. Okay, see, Todd Rourke 170. Sorry about all those loud. Hey, whatever, man. So this is, wow, he said that about making a house. Yeah, fucking piece of shit. That maybe, and Trump's a real estate guy. You know, it's like, he can't be worrying about the people that own homes, okay? It's just like worrying about the people that own stocks. You know, something like 10%, the top 10% own something like 80 or 90% of all the stocks. Like, fuck that. That's wrong. You need to be spreading those assets out to everybody, or at least giving more people opportunities to own some of that shit. You know, it's really messed up. The reason housing prices are so high and rent got so high, you bring 10, 20 million illegals in here. What do you think you're going to do? Are you just going to build housing for those guys in 4 years? Ain't fucking happening. Plus, you don't even know they're here because they're not on the books. They weren't planned, you know. And then you get another quarter of all the rentals being brought up by private capital, right? Companies like BlackRock, Blackstone, all these motherfuckers buying, and they're like, oh, they weren't buying up houses. Come to find out, oh yeah, they were. No shit. I talked about it in 2008. Berkshire Hathaway went in and bought up fuck tons of houses because the cost of housing crashed after the great financial crisis. They are one of the largest fucking homeowners in America. Nobody talks about it. My wife was in real estate back then. It was happening up. We saw it happening. It was a massive thing. Did anyone get in trouble? No. Nobody got in trouble for any of that shit. Let's see, because 1% of friends are buying everything. Yeah, you know, but it's his voter base, right? Republicans love old fucking voters. They love the older the better. That's what they want. Old, religious. They just love those people. And people vote for Republicans all the time. They're like almost like one issue voters. It's really weird. Protect Social Security. Like I'm so tired of it. Okay, went from nothing happening to millions. Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, it's a hoax. There's nothing there. Again, why are people every time that guy goes anywhere? What the fuck happened here, Trump? What did you say? Where are these files? Hey, Dan Bongino, where are the fucking files, right? Kash Patel, you said you were gonna. I guess he did close the Hoover Building. That is something, you know. But all the shit that he was talking about. Where are all the arrests? Guys ever notice? Nobody gets arrested in government. Nobody. Nobody ever gets arrested because they know that if they arrest somebody, well, then the people coming after them, well, they're going to have to be good. And they don't want that, so they never arrest anybody. Never fucking happens. It's complete bullshit. Okay, Mr. Chase, I like wood. Yeah, me too, buddy. Woohoo! Guys, I got to go. My phone is almost dead. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Love talking to everyone. I don't do these very often, but I just felt like I needed to just rant, and this is a good way to do this sometimes. So I hope everyone has a great night. And again, we'll do these talks again. Go to resplendentcrow.com, go to modernwoodorder.com. Just kind of see what kind of furniture we make. You know, it's kind of interesting. Not trying to sell you nothing, just furniture. So, guys, have a good night. Yak you later. Son, good to see you, dude.